First contact. The sleek silver spacecraft descended through Earth's atmosphere, its hull shimmering as it pierced the cloud cover. Inside, Zara peered out of the viewport, her large, luminous eyes wide with wonder. The blue and green planet below was unlike anything she had ever seen on her homeworld of Xylox. As the ship touched down in a secluded meadow, Zara felt a flutter of excitement in her chest cavity. She had dreamed of this moment since she was a young hatchling, poring over data streams about the curious bipedal species known as humans. Now, as the lead xenobiologist on this research mission, she would finally have the chance to study them up close. The airlock hissed open, and Zara stepped out onto Earth's soil for the first time. The gravity felt strange, pulling at her life frame in unfamiliar ways. She took a deep breath, her respiratory slits flaring as they processed the oxygen-rich air. It was invigorating. In the distance, she could see a group of humans approaching. They moved with a fluid grace that fascinated her. Leading the group was a tall figure with dark hair and eyes that crinkled at the corners. As they drew nearer, Zara activated her universal translator. "Welcome to Earth," the lead human said, his voice warm and inviting. "I'm Dr. Alex Chen, head of xenobiology at the Global Science Institute. We're honored to host you." Zara inclined her head in the traditional Xyloxy greeting. "The honor is ours, Dr. Chen. I am Zara, lead researcher from Xylox. We come in peace and pursuit of knowledge." Alex's eyes sparkled with curiosity as he took in Zara's appearance. Her iridescent skin shifted colors subtly in the sunlight, and her elongated fingers ended in sensitive pads, perfect for delicate scientific work. He had studied the physiological data on the Xyloxy, but seeing one in person was breathtaking. As they walked toward the research facility, Zara's gait was slightly awkward as she adjusted to Earth's gravity. Alex instinctively reached out to steady her when she stumbled, then quickly pulled his hand back, unsure if the contact would be welcome. "My apologies," he said. "I should have asked if physical contact is acceptable in your culture." Zara's skin flushed a deep purple, a sign of embarrassment in her species. "No need for apologies, Dr. Chen. We are here to learn about each other after all. Physical contact is not common among my people, but I understand it is for humans. I appreciate your assistance." As they entered the facility, Zara marveled at the array of scientific equipment. Some of it was familiar, while other devices were completely foreign to her. She couldn't wait to begin her research. "We've prepared a lab space for you," Alex explained, leading her to a large room filled with state-of-the-art technology. "We hope it meets your needs, but please let us know if there's anything else you require." Zara's skin rippled with excitement, shifting to a vibrant blue. "This is more than adequate, Dr. Chen. I'm eager to begin our work together." Over the next few weeks, Zara and Alex fell into a comfortable routine. They spent long hours in the lab, comparing notes on their respective species' biology, culture, and history. Zara was fascinated by the complexity of human emotions, while Alex was intrigued by the Xyloxy's advanced cognitive abilities. One day, as they were analyzing cellular samples, Zara noticed Alex stifling a yawn. "Dr. Chen, are you experiencing fatigue? Perhaps we should pause our work for now." Alex smiled sheepishly. "I'm all right, Zara. Humans just need regular sleep cycles. I've been so excited about our research that I've been staying up later than usual." Zara tilted her head, her antenna twitching with interest. "Sleep cycles? Ah yes, I recall reading about this in our preliminary data. Xyloxy do not require sleep as humans do. We simply enter brief periods of meditation to process information and rejuvenate our bodies." Alex's eyes widened. "That's incredible. The implications for cognitive function and productivity are enormous. I'd love to study that further if you're willing." Zara's skin shimmered with pleasure at his enthusiasm. "Of course, Dr. Chen. That's why we're here after all, to learn from each other." As the days passed, Zara found herself growing more comfortable around Alex and the other humans. She began to pick up on subtle social cues, and even attempted humor, though her jokes often fell flat due to cultural differences. One evening, as they were wrapping up their work, Alex invited Zara to join him and some colleagues for dinner. "It's a human custom to share meals and socialize outside of work," he explained. "Would you like to join us? It could be a good opportunity for you to observe human social interactions." Zara hesitated for a moment. The idea of consuming nutrients in public was strange to her, as Siloxy typically absorbed energy in private. But her curiosity won out. "I would be honored, Dr. Chen. Thank you for the invitation." The restaurant was a sensory overload for Zara. The smells, sounds, and sights were almost overwhelming. She watched in fascination as the humans used utensils to convey food to their mouths, engaging in animated conversation between bites. When the waiter approached to take their order, Zara panicked slightly. She hadn't considered that she would need to choose food. Alex, noticing her discomfort, smoothly intervened. "Zara, I took the liberty of asking our nutritionist to prepare a dish that should be compatible with your digestive system. Would you like to try it?" Relieved, Zara nodded. "Yes, thank you, Dr. Chen. Your thoughtfulness is appreciated." As the evening progressed, Zara found herself relaxing and enjoying the company. She listened intently to the humans' conversations, asking questions and offering insights from her own culture. By the end of the night, she felt a warm glow of camaraderie that was entirely new to her. Walking back to the research facility under a star-filled sky, Zara turned to Alex. "Thank you for including me tonight, Dr. Chen. I've learned so much about human social dynamics. Your species' capacity for connection is fascinating." Alex smiled, his eyes reflecting the starlight. "I'm glad you enjoyed it, Zara. And please call me Alex. I think after all our time working together, we can consider ourselves friends." Zara's skin rippled with a soft pink hue, a color Alex had come to associate with happiness. "Friends," she repeated, testing the word. "Yes, I believe we are, Alex." As they reached the facility, both lingered for a moment, neither quite ready for the evening to end. There was a charge in the air, a sense of possibility that neither fully understood. "Well, good night, Zara," Alex finally said. "I'll see you in the morning." "Good night, Alex," Zara replied, her voice softer than usual. As she entered her quarters, Zara felt a strange fluttering sensation in her chest cavity. She would need to meditate on these new feelings. Little did she know, this was just the beginning of a journey that would change both their lives, and potentially the future of both their species, forever. The proposal. As weeks turned into months, Zara's fascination with human biology and culture deepened. She found herself particularly intrigued by the concept of human reproduction and relationships. The idea of two beings joining physically and emotionally to create new life was entirely foreign to her species, who reproduced through a complex process of energy transfer and genetic recombination. One day, while analyzing data in their shared lab, Zara broached the subject with Alex. "I've been studying human mating rituals and reproduction," she began, her skin shifting to a curious shade of teal. "It's so different from our methods on Psylocke. The physical and emotional aspects are intriguing." Alex felt his cheeks warm, not expecting this turn in conversation. "Yes, well, it's a complex and important part of human life. What specifically interests you about it?" Zara's eyes sparkled with scientific fervor. "Everything. The chemical reactions, the physiological changes, the pair bonding. It's fascinating." "Alex, I have a proposal." Alex raised an eyebrow, both curious and slightly apprehensive. "What kind of proposal?" "I want to experience human reproduction methods firsthand," Zara said, her tone matter of fact. "As a scientific experiment, of course. Who better to participate than two xenobiologists?" Alex nearly dropped the petri dish he was holding. "Zara, that's a big ask. There are ethical considerations, not to mention the potential physical incompatibilities." But Zara was undeterred. Her antenna quivered with excitement as she outlined her plan. "We could start with the courtship rituals. Dating, I believe you call it. then progress to physical intimacy if compatibility is established. Think of the scientific knowledge we could gain. Alex's mind raced. Part of him was intrigued by the idea, both scientifically and, if he was honest with himself personally, he had grown fond of Zara over the past months, admiring her intelligence and unique perspective. But the ethical implications were staggering. "We'd need approval from both our institutions," he said slowly, "and extensive medical screenings to ensure it's even physically possible." Zara nodded enthusiastically. "Of course, we'll approach this methodically, like any other experiment." Over the next few weeks, they presented their proposal to a joint committee of human and thyloxy scientists. The debate was heated, with concerns raised about everything from biological contamination to psychological effects. Finally, after rigorous testing and lengthy discussions, they received conditional approval. The scientific community was cautiously excited about the potential breakthroughs in xenobiology and interspecies relations. As they prepared for their first date, both Zara and Alex felt a mix of scientific curiosity and personal nervousness. Zara had studied human courtship extensively, but experiencing it was another matter entirely. They decided to start with a classic human date, dinner and a movie. As they sat across from each other in a cozy restaurant, Zara marveled at the concept of sharing a meal as a bonding experience. "On Thylox, nutrient absorption is a solitary utilitarian process," she explained. "This idea of making it a social event is fascinating." Alex smiled, finding her enthusiasm endearing. "Food is a big part of human culture. We associate it with comfort, celebration, and connection." As they talked, Zara found herself captivated by the way Alex's eyes crinkled when he laughed, the timbre of his voice, the graceful movements of his hands as he gestured. These were not purely scientific observations, she realized with a start. After dinner, they headed to the movie theater. The film was a romantic comedy, chosen to give Zara insight into human perceptions of love and relationships. As they sat in the darkened theater, Zara was acutely aware of Alex's presence beside her. When their hands accidentally brushed while reaching for popcorn, she felt a jolt of electricity that had nothing to do with her natural bioluminescence. Walking back to the research facility under a canopy of stars, they discussed the film and human notions of romance. "It seems so complicated," Zara mused. "All these unspoken rules and expectations. How do humans navigate it?" Alex chuckled. "Often not very well. But that's part of the experience, I suppose. The uncertainty, the excitement of getting to know someone." As they reached Zara's quarters, there was a moment of awkward silence. Zara knew from her research that human dates often ended with a kiss. The thought both thrilled and terrified her. "I believe this is the part where humans typically engage in lip contact," she said, her voice slightly higher than usual. Alex's heart raced. The goodnight kiss, yes. "But Zara, we don't have to follow every human dating custom. This is your experience too." Zara considered for a moment, then made a decision. She leaned forward and gently pressed her forehead to Alex's, a gesture of deep affection in Thyloxy culture. "Thank you for this experience, Alex," she said softly. "I look forward to continuing our experiment." As she entered her quarters, Zara's mind whirled with new data to process. But it wasn't just scientific curiosity driving her now. There was something else, something uniquely human yet universally profound brewing between them. The next few weeks saw Zara and Alex progressing through various human courtship rituals. They went hiking, attended concerts, and even tried cooking together, with mixed results. Each experience brought them closer, their connection deepening beyond the boundaries of their initial scientific inquiry. As they prepare for the next phase of their experiment, physical intimacy, both felt a mix of anticipation and nervousness. They had undergone extensive medical examinations to ensure compatibility, but there were still many unknowns. The night of their first planned intimate encounter arrived. They had transformed one of the labs into a more comfortable setting, with soft lighting and music playing quietly in the background. Zara's skin shimmered with a mix of colors reflecting her complex emotions. I'm experiencing an elevated heart rate and a strange sensation in my abdominal region, she reported. Is this normal for humans before mating? Alex smiled gently, taking her hand. Perfectly normal. We call it butterflies in the stomach. It's a sign of excitement and nervousness. As they moved closer, the air seemed to crackle with energy. When their lips finally met, it was like nothing either had experienced before. For Zara, the sensation was overwhelming. A rush of new neural pathways lighting up, her skin glowing brightly in response. For Alex, the kiss was both familiar and entirely new. Zora's lips were softer than he expected, with a slight tingle that sent shivers down his spine. As they explored this new terrain together, both scientist and subject, both teacher and student, they found themselves on the brink of a discovery far greater than either had anticipated. This wasn't just an experiment anymore, it was the beginning of something revolutionary, both for their species and for themselves. Little did they know, this union would have consequences that would ripple across the galaxy, challenging everything both humans and Tyloxy thought they knew about love, life, and the interconnectedness of all beings. Unexpected developments. The weeks following Zara and Alex's first intimate encounter were filled with a whirlwind of emotions, scientific breakthroughs, and unforeseen complications. Their experiment had taken an unexpected turn, pushing the boundaries of both xenobiology and interspecies relations in ways no one could have predicted. As they continued to explore physical intimacy, Zara experienced a series of startling physiological changes. Her bioluminescent patterns began to pulse in sync with Alex's heartbeat during their encounters. Her skin developed a new sensitivity to touch, and she found herself craving physical contact in a way that was entirely foreign to Psyloxy culture. It's extraordinary, Zara marveled one day as they reviewed her latest bioscans. My cellular structure is actually adapting to be more compatible with human physiology. It's as if my body is evolving in real time to facilitate our connection. Alex was equally amazed. And look at these hormone levels. They're off the charts, but in patterns we've never seen before. It's like your body is creating entirely new chemicals to mimic human bonding hormones. But it wasn't just Zara experiencing changes. Alex found his own physiology shifting in subtle ways. His skin had developed a faint, Psyloxy-like shimmer, barely noticeable except under certain lights. His sensory perception had heightened, allowing him to pick up on Zara's bioluminescent cues with startling accuracy. As fascinating as these developments were from a scientific perspective, they paled in comparison to the emotional intensity both were experiencing. What had started as an experiment had blossomed into something deeper, more profound than either had anticipated. One evening, as they lay intertwined, basking in the afterglow of their latest encounter, Zara turned to Alex with an expression of wonder. Alex, I believe I'm experiencing what humans call love. Is this what it feels like? Alex's heart swelled with emotion. Yes, Zara, I think it is, because I'm feeling it too. Their lips met in a kiss that seemed to make the very air around them vibrate with energy. As they pulled apart, both gasped in shock. For a brief moment, their bioluminescence had synchronized, creating a dazzling light show that filled the room. But amidst the joy and wonder of their deepening bond, complications arose. News of their experiment had leaked to the press, causing a media frenzy. Headlines screamed about alien love affairs and interstellar intimacy. Religious groups protested, calling their union an abomination. Conspiracy theorists claimed it was all a plot for alien invasion. The scientific community was divided. Some hailed their work as groundbreaking, while others decried it as reckless and unethical. Both Zara and Alex found themselves under intense scrutiny, their every move analyzed and debated in public forums. Amidst this chaos, Zara made a shocking discovery. During a routine medical scan, she detected something unprecedented, a small cluster of cells in her abdominal cavity that didn't match her normal physiological makeup. Alex, she said, her voice trembling with a mix of fear and excitement, I think I might be pregnant. The news hit like a supernova. It should have been impossible. Their genetic structures were too different, their reproductive systems entirely incompatible. And yet, there it was, undeniable proof that life found a way. As word spread of the miraculous conception, the uproar grew to a fever pitch. Scientists clamored for access to study this unprecedented event. Government officials held emergency meetings to discuss the potential implications for interstellar relations. And in the eye of this storm stood Zara and Alex, facing a future neither of them could have imagined. Late one night, as they lay awake discussing their situation, Alex voiced the fear that had been gnawing at both of them. What if they try to take our baby away for study? What if they don't see it as a person, but just as a scientific specimen? Zora's hand instinctively went to her abdomen, a fierce protectiveness surging through her. We won't let that happen. This child is ours, a bridge between our species, a symbol of what's possible when we open our hearts and minds. Alex nodded, pulling her close. We're in this together. Whatever comes next, we'll face it as a family. As Zara's pregnancy progressed, it became clear that this was no ordinary gestation. Her body continued to adapt and change in fascinating ways. The developing fetus exhibited traits of both species, its genetic code a beautiful hybrid of human and thyloxy DNA. Their research took on a new urgency as they worked to understand the implications of their union. Could this be replicated? Could it pave the way for a new era of interspecies relations? The possibilities were as exciting as they were daunting. But beyond the scientific implications, Zara and Alex found themselves embarking on a more personal journey, preparing to become parents to a truly unique child. They pored over books on human child rearing, consulted with Thyloxy elders on their nurturing practices, and worked to create a home that would honor both their cultures. As Zara's due date approached, the world held its breath. This birth would be more than just the arrival of a child. It would be the dawn of a new era in human and Thyloxy history. In the quiet moments before sleep each night, Zara and Alex would talk to their unborn child, a mix of human words and Thyloxy vibrations. They shared their hopes, their fears, and that unconditional love for this miracle they had created together. "Little one," Zara would say, her hand glowing softly against her swollen belly, "you are the best of both worlds. A new beginning. A bridge across the stars." And as their child grew within her, Zara and Alex stood on the precipice of a new frontier, not just in science, but in love, in family, and in the very definition of what it means to be human, or Thyloxy, or something gloriously, uniquely in between. A new life. The day of the birth arrived with a cosmic flourish. As Zara went into labor, the sky above the research facility erupted in a dazzling aurora, its colors mimicking the bioluminescent patterns pulsing across Zara's skin. Scientists later theorized that the hybrid child's unique energy signature had triggered this phenomenal display, but in the moment, it felt like the universe itself was celebrating. The delivery room was a fusion of cutting-edge human medical technology and Thyloxy healing crystals. A team of the world's top xenobiologists, obstetricians, and even its Thyloxy elder stood by, ready to assist in this unprecedented birth. The air thrummed with tension and excitement. Alex held Zara's hand, his own skin shimmering faintly in response to her intensifying bioluminescence. "You're doing amazing, Zara," he encouraged, his voice thick with emotion. "Our little star child is almost here." Zara's antennae quivered with effort as she pushed, her body adapting in real time to this very human process of childbirth. "Alex," she gasped, "I can feel our energies merging. It's incredible." Suddenly, the room was filled with a blinding light. As it faded, a cry pierced the air. Not quite human, not quite Thyloxy, but beautiful all the same. The lead doctor held up the child, and everyone in the room gasped in wonder. The baby girl was a perfect blend of both species. Her skin shimmered with subtle iridescence, tiny bioluminescent patterns dancing across her flesh. Her eyes, when she opened them, were startlingly human but with an otherworldly depth. Delicate antennae, softer and smaller than Zara's, peeked out from a full head of dark hair. As Alex cut the umbilical cord, a human tradition that felt powerfully symbolic in this moment, he and Zara exchanged a look of pure awe. "She's perfect," Alex whispered, tears streaming down his face. Zara nodded, her own eyes glistening with its Psylocke equivalent of tears, droplets of luminescent fluid that caught the light like tiny stars. "Our little Nova," she said softly, the name they had chosen coming naturally to her lips. The birth of Nova sent shockwaves through both human and Psylocke societies. News channels ran 24/7 coverage, scientists clamored for DNA samples, and religious leaders of various faiths struggled to reconcile this miracle with their doctrines. In the days that followed, Zara and Alex found themselves at the center of a media storm. They gave carefully controlled interviews, trying to balance their roles as scientists with their new identities as parents. "Nova represents the future," Zara explained in one particularly viral interview. "She is living proof that love and understanding can bridge even the vast distances between stars." Alex nodded, cradling Nova gently. "We hope her existence will open hearts and minds, showing that our differences are not barriers, but opportunities for growth and connection." As Nova grew, it became clear that she was truly one of a kind. She developed faster than human infants, but slower than Psylocke young. Her bioluminescent patterns became more complex, seemingly reflecting her emotions in a vibrant visual language all her own. Perhaps most remarkably, Nova displayed an unprecedented ability to manipulate energy fields. As a toddler, she could levitate small objects, create miniature force fields, and even generate tiny, localized auroras with a wave of her hand. It's as if she's tapping into the fundamental forces of the universe. Alex marveled one day as they watched Nova playing. "She's rewriting the laws of physics before our eyes." Zara nodded, her antennae twitching with a mix of pride and concern. "She is a bridge not just between our species, but between the very fabric of our realities. The question is, are our worlds ready for her?" The challenges of raising such a unique child were numerous. Nova's diet had to be carefully calibrated to meet both her human and Psylocke nutritional needs. Her education involved not just reading and math, but lessons in controlling her energy manipulation abilities and understanding the complex histories of both her parent cultures. As Nova grew, so did the world's fascination with her. She became a symbol of unity, hope, and the infinite possibilities of the universe. Children's books were written about her, featuring titles like Nova's Two Worlds and The Girl Who Glowed. Toymakers created dolls with light-up skin, and fashion designers launched Nova-inspired, iridescent clothing lines. But with fame came danger. There were those who saw Nova as a threat, a harbinger of alien takeover, or a sinister genetic experiment. Zara and Alex faced death threats and attempted kidnappings. They were forced to raise their daughter in a high-security compound, always watchful, always on guard. Despite these challenges, they were determined to give Nova as normal a childhood as possible. They organized playdates with the children of trusted colleagues, took family vacations to remote locations, and filled their home with love, laughter, and the best of both their cultures. As Nova approached her 5th birthday, a milestone in both human and Psylocke development, Zara and Alex made a bold decision. They would take their daughter on a grand tour, visiting key locations on both Earth and Thylox. It would be a chance for Nova to connect with both sides of her heritage and for the public to see her as more than just a scientific marvel. The tour was a sensation. On Earth, Nova charmed audiences with her quick wit and dazzling abilities. She levitated the ball at the opening pitch of a baseball game, created a miniature aurora borealis for a group of awestruck schoolchildren, and even had a touching meeting with the Dalai Lama, who declared her a beacon of cosmic harmony. On Psylocke, the reception was more reserved at first. The Psylocke, not given to public displays of emotion, were nonetheless visibly moved by Nova's presence. Her ability to communicate through bioluminescent patterns, combined with her very human expressiveness, broke through centuries of Psylocke stoicism. In a historic moment, Nova addressed the Psylocke High Council, her young voice ringing out with wisdom beyond her years. "I am not just human, not just Psylocke," she declared, her skin pulsing with complex patterns that left the council members in awe. "I am a child of two worlds, a living bridge across the stars, and I am proof that love knows no boundaries, not of species, not of planets, not even of biology." As Zara and Alex watched their daughter win hearts and minds across two worlds, they felt a profound sense of hope. Nova was more than just their child. She was the future, a glimpse of what could be when barriers fell away and understanding took root. That night, as they tucked Nova into bed aboard that interstellar vessel, somewhere in the vast expanse between Earth and Thylox, Zara and Alex exchanged a look of pure love and wonder. "We did this," Alex said softly, gesturing to their sleeping daughter, her skin glowing softly in the dimness of the cabin. "We changed the universe." Zara nodded, her antennae gently brushing against Alex's cheek in a gesture of deep affection. "No, my love, we're just getting started. Nova and children like her, they're the ones who will truly bridge the gap between stars." As they drifted off to sleep, the small family unit nestled together in the vastness of space, the future stretched out before them, bright, uncertain, and filled with infinite possibilities. Their love story had transcended biology, defied expectations, and opened up a new chapter in the cosmic tale of life itself. And with Nova lighting the way, that story was only just beginning. Bridging two worlds. As Nova entered her teenage years, the true magnitude of her unique heritage began to manifest in ways that astonished both her parents and the scientific community at large. Her ability to manipulate energy fields had grown exponentially, allowing her to perform feats that seemed nothing short of miraculous. One particularly memorable incident occurred during a diplomatic summit on Earth's newly established lunar colony. As delegates from various species argued over resource allocation, Nova suddenly stood up, her skin pulsing with intense patterns of light. "Enough," she said, her voice resonating with a power that silenced the room. With a wave of her hand, she created a holographic display of the galaxy, showing resource distribution, trade routes, and potential areas of cooperation that no one had previously considered. "We are all connected," Nova explained, her eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. "The energy that flows through me is the same energy that binds the universe together. We must learn to see beyond our individual needs and understand our place in the cosmic web." The display was so compelling, so undeniably logical, that it broke through centuries of interspecies mistrust. The Nova Accords, as they came to be known, ushered in a new era of galactic cooperation and shared prosperity. But Nova's influence wasn't limited to grand diplomatic gestures. She had a profound impact on popular culture as well. Novacore became the hottest trend in fashion, with bioluminescent fabrics and energy-reactive accessories dominating runways from Milan to Mars Colony. Music producers created Nova Wave, a genre that combined human melodies with Psylocke harmonics and subtle energy frequencies that listeners described as touching the soul. Holographic Nova-inspired dance performances became the must-see events of the season, with dancers manipulating light and energy in breathtaking displays. In the scientific realm, Nova's unique biology sparked a revolution in medicine. Researchers studying her hybrid physiology made breakthroughs in cellular regeneration, leading to cures for diseases that had long plagued both humans and Thyloxy. Novagenics became the cutting-edge field of study, exploring the potential of controlled genetic hybridization to solve a variety of problems, from climate adaptation to space travel endurance. But with great power came great responsibility, and Nova felt the weight of her role keenly. She struggled with the pressure of being a galactic icon, a bridge between worlds, and a teenager trying to find her own identity. "Sometimes I feel like I don't fully belong anywhere," she confided in her parents one night, her skin dimming to a soft, melancholic blue. "I'm not fully human, not fully Psylocke. Where do I fit in?" Zara and Alex exchanged a knowing look. They had anticipated this moment and had prepared for it. Nova, Alex said gently, you don't have to fit into any predefined category. You are uniquely you, and that's your strength. Zara nodded, her antennae softly pulsing with maternal affection. You are a pioneer, my star child. You're forging a new path, not just for yourself, but for all those who will come after you. To help Nova connect with others like her, Zara and Alex established the Cosmic Bridge Academy, a school for hybrid children and young adults from across the galaxy. Here, Nova found kindred spirits, beings who understood the challenges and joys of straddling multiple worlds. The academy quickly became a beacon of innovation and cross-cultural understanding. Students developed new technologies that combined the best aspects of various species advancements. They created art that spoke to the universal experiences of love, loss, and belonging. Most importantly, they formed bonds that transcended planetary boundaries. As Nova approached adulthood, she began to realize her true calling. With her unique ability to bridge different species and cultures, she became a galactic mediator, traveling to conflict zones across the universe to foster peace and understanding. Her methods were unconventional but incredibly effective. In one instance, she resolved a centuries-old conflict between two aquatic species by creating a shared bioluminescent language that allowed them to communicate their needs and fears clearly for the first time. On another occasion, she helped terraform a disputed planet, using her energy manipulation abilities to create zones that perfectly suited the needs of multiple species, allowing them to coexist harmoniously. Nova's work caught the attention of the newly formed Galactic Council, a governing body representing hundreds of species across the known universe. In a historic move, they invited her to become the first-ever ambassador of unity, a role created specifically to utilize her unique talents. The day of Nova's inauguration was marked by celebrations across multiple worlds. On Earth, bioluminescent fireworks lit up the sky in a dazzling display. On Psylocke, the typically reserved populace engaged in a rare public festival, their bodies pulsing with joyous light patterns. As Nova took the stage to address the assembled dignitaries and the trillions watching via holographic broadcast, she felt the weight of history on her shoulders. But she also felt the love and support of her parents, who beamed at her from the front row, their hands intertwined. Fellow beings of the cosmos, Nova began, her voice clear and strong, her skin shimmering with patterns that translated her words into a dozen different alien languages simultaneously. I stand before you not as a human, not as a Xyloxy, but as a child of the stars themselves. She paused, looking out at the sea of diverse faces, some human, some alien, and many somewhere in between. My very existence is proof that the boundaries we create are illusions. In our DNA, in the energy that flows through all living things, we are one. As she spoke, Nova began to glow brighter, her energy field expanding to encompass the entire auditorium. Those present reported feeling a profound sense of connection, as if they could sense the underlying unity of all life. Today, we stand on the brink of a new era. Nova continued, her words resonating across the galaxy. An era where our differences are not divisions, but strengths. Where the tapestry of life is made richer by each unique thread. She raised her hands, and above her, a holographic image of the known universe appeared, countless stars and planets swirling in cosmic dance. Let us move forward not as separate species or rival worlds, but as one galactic family. For in the grand cosmic story, we are all stardust, all connected, all one. As Nova's speech concluded, a wave of emotion swept across the assembled crowds and through the billions watching from afar. It was a moment of profound shift, a collective realization of the boundless possibilities that lay ahead. In the aftermath of the inauguration, Zara and Alex found a quiet moment alone with their daughter. As they embraced, their bioluminescent patterns synchronizing in a dazzling display of familial love, they marveled at the journey that had brought them to this point. When we first started our experiment all those years ago, Alex said, his voice thick with emotion, we never could have imagined this. Zara's antennae quivered in agreement. We thought we were just studying reproduction, but we ended up changing the course of galactic history. Nova smiled, her glow softening to a warm, intimate light. You did more than that, she said softly. You showed the universe that love truly knows no boundaries. Everything I am, everything I'll do, it all started with your love. As the small family stood together, their forms silhouetted against the vast starscape visible through the station's viewport, they felt a profound sense of unity, with each other and with the cosmos itself. The story of Zara and Alex, the alien girl who tried human reproduction methods for the first time, had blossomed into something far greater than they could have ever imagined. It had become a testament to the power of love, curiosity, and openness to change the very fabric of the universe. And as Nova prepared to lead the galaxy into a new age of understanding and cooperation, one thing was clear: the greatest adventure, for all of them, was just beginning.